Barry and I are going to tag team this. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you. We purposely did it with our little, blocks and open it up so we can have an interactive meeting. My name is Natasha Caputo, Director of Westchester County Tourism and Film. And this is really our first, Real Ready Westchester kind of boot camp in partnership with Sherry Asher Rosen and New York State Film. Our Deputy County Executive will be joining us in a few minutes. But I just think in the interest of time, and we're very respectful, we have a really good program and we want to do Q&A, kind of just talk. So welcome. This is interactive, as I said. So I really appreciate if everyone can stay muted. There is no master control of us muting you and unmuting you. So we can all are really good at this point working virtual and Zoom. So please mute yourself. And just a reminder that we are going to do Q&A session. So there's the chat. Lisa Buckman and Wendy from our team over at Harry are helping us facilitate this. So please put in those chats. We'll also be putting some background material in there as we go along. So keep track of that. And, I just think that the goal of this is really for us to learn from you and you to learn from us. And I think we're going to jump ahead. I said this is in partnership with Sherry Rosen Asher, who runs policy and our chamber relationships. And I think, Sherry, we've talked about this a lot. Do you want to just give a quick overview, and we'll, and then when Ken jumps in, he can give us a little bit more.
Okay, and also I'm going to ask you to if you could text the link to Ken, because I couldn't text her from here. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sherry Rosen Asher, and I am the Director of Policy and Programs for Small Business in the Chambers of Commerce. This job did not exist prior to the George Latimer administration, and he created it specifically to find ways to help the small businesses in the county. Small business is really the heart and soul of Westchester County. And as the small businesses do well, the county does well. So we're always looking for different ways to help, whether it's giving grants, coming out of COVID, whether it's having informational webinars, whether it's hosting multi-chamber events, or whether it's coming up with different policies and programs to specifically help. And Natasha and I have talked a lot about how film in the county is big business, but it could be big business for small business as well. And so finding ways for all of our businesses to really understand the impact of this and to really benefit from this. We have about 25 to 30 chambers of commerce in this county. And prior to this administration, they were not necessarily operating together. So we've built some good bridges in that direction, and anything that we can come up with to get more information to them, because information is power, has been helpful. So I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited about them learning about all the opportunities that are available with film in the county.
Thank you so much, Sherry. I am trying to text our DC. So I'm going to take this opportunity now because I realized that Yoni Boxer, who is the executive director of the New York State Governor's Office of Motion Pictures in the Industry, is on with us. Yoni, hello. I want to just thank you for your partnership, your support of Westchester. Westchester is the busiest, right, outside of the 5 boroughs. So if you would want to just say short, quick hello to everyone, that would be great.
Thank you all here. I'm here with Javon from Tech Support. It's not a morning without an IT issue. We love Westchester here at New York State. I know Laura's going to go in depth and talk about some of our vision for ways to include small businesses and support small businesses. But just know from Governor Kathy Hochul and Commissioner Hope Knight on down to everyone on our team, we want to bring jobs to New York, keep jobs to New York, make sure economic development from production jobs gets spent in local communities, and we're really channeling that through expanding and enhancing our diverse and local supplier directory. So that's it. Thank you so much, Natasha and Lisa and Laura and Sherry and everyone else who's here, and Mr. Jenkins as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again. And it is my great pleasure now to look at one of my block, and I see our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins. Good morning, Ken. I know. Thank you so much for joining us. And I just think it's extremely important to hear, your perspective and the support that the county and your leadership here and understanding film. So thanks again for joining us and welcome.
And thank you so much. Technology gets to be challenging every now and then. I apologize for the minutes of delay, but this is so critically important, and this happened, the opportunity for this kind of conversation to happen, where the leadership, Natasha and the entire team, Natasha Computo, Sherry Rose and Asher, and the entire team. The reality is this is about business, and it's about the huge economic impact that that film has here in Westchester County. It is a significant impact, and I know a lot of times it gets to be a challenge in the communities as these things happen. It's a disruption in things, but when you look at the $2.3 billion things that happen along the way in 2023, and we're going to get the numbers for 2022, the number of the impact for the local community, the impact on our small businesses, the impact in communities where people get a chance to see things that they didn't get a chance to see before. That's why this is so important. So to be real ready is really important, and we're really going to get it together. So with that, I'm going to turn back over to our Natasha Caputo, Executive Director, but we want to make sure to continue to have this kind of leadership. And because of leadership, County Executive Latimer, and certainly with Natasha Caputo, Sherry Rose and Asher, and making sure all of our businesses can take advantage and local municipalities can take advantage of that. That's why this is so important. So back to you, Natasha.
Great. Thank you so much. And I think that's it, right? We're a great team here on all levels. Our leaderships, our takeaways here, our Q&A. If I don't have an answer, Barry doesn't have an answer. Barry Sermon on the team are your day-to-day, really on all film activities and facilitating. He is so busy, which I know he is because I watch him, so I understand, and I'm the backup. But with that said, that team is also the industry. So with us today, we have Corey Patrick, who many you may know, but welcome, Corey, to the Westchester family here. We're going to hear from Corey in a little bit, but first, the program is going to be Laura Burning, who is another day-to-day partner, Westchester resident here, understands the industry, 20 plus years, really, who's taught me a lot, who is what I call, the advisory group here for all of us. Laura is going to walk us through. She's got a PowerPoint, who it's really called the boot camp, again, as our Real Ready Westchester program kicks off. Good morning, Laura. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. And I'm going to pass off controls to you. Thank you.
Great, Natasha, thank you so much for that great introduction. Again, my name is Laura Burning. I work with Empire State Development with Yoni Boxer and the team there with the Governor's Office of Motion Picture and Television Development. We're here to talk, as you know, today about the TV and film industry in New York State and how you can connect your business with this thriving sector. Just a little bit more about our office. We work to attract film and TV to the state of New York. And the ways that we do that, of course, are through tax credits for post and film production. We highlight the state's production infrastructure, the incredible talent and crew, filming locations, and of course, the multitude of small businesses that support and want to support the industry. So at any given time, there are dozens to hundreds of productions happening in New York State. These productions employ thousands of New Yorkers and utilize thousands of New York small businesses. The Motion Picture Association of America has reported that more than 90% of vendors working with the film industry are small businesses. So there are a variety of ways you can generate exposure for your business within the production industry. You can expand your business model for productions to use it as a filming location, or list your business in the diverse supplier directory. Both things we'll get into a little in just a few minutes. And of course, if your local or regional film office like Westchester County certainly has vendor listings on their site, be sure to get your business listed there. So probably, as you guys know, the movie business is really big, but it operates really in a very small way. Many producers and location managers hire vendors that are recommended by colleagues, which is really, I think, more important than online reviews. The film industry works at a very hyper speed, and each project is finite. So it may last anywhere from 2 days to 20 months and will involve often overnights or split schedules. I mean, they may be working from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. So that means the production's goals are typically compressed, which means they need their vendors to be flexible and, most importantly, to be reliable. Do know that productions do want to work with small businesses like yours and patronize businesses that are in the communities that they are filming in. So you've got the built-in resources locally, and that really matters because, as I said, production works very fast, and when they need to get things done down the street, they know you're available to help. As Yoni mentioned before, Governor Hochul is a champion of the TV and film industry in New York State, and she is steadfast in her commitment to small business across the state. So producers have told us what type of businesses they use most during their productions. This includes, but is definitely not limited to, caterers, cleaning services, tools and tents, security, vintage goods, costumes, furniture. All types of businesses can get involved. Of course, as you know, if you have a restaurant or a food truck or a hotel, maybe you use as green rooms, those are really important things too. Even if your business doesn't traditionally fall under one of these categories, your business could be relevant to the film and TV business. For example, as I said, vintage furniture store or a clothing store that has vintage goods, or an art gallery, original art. All of these things fall under sort of, props, and definitely are needed by the industry. I think I see Harlan Rose in the room. He's got a big furniture business. Kenny Puff, I see you in the room too. You have a lot of equipment, tools, tents. Kenny, 30 years ago, it was such a word, even more so than today, was a word of mouth, industry. And back then we were using you, Kenny, and it was, dial up phone calling and, word of mouth. And that remains so today. So just keep this in mind. Most vendors that work with film and TV production don't start out doing so. So don't get stuck on thinking that having previous experience is necessary. So on to the diverse supplier directory. As of January 1st, 2023, film and television production companies participating in the New York State Film Production Tax Credit Program are required to submit diversity plans with goals for hiring a diverse workforce, including hiring diverse vendors. The directory serves as a resource for film and television professionals to help identify and connect with diverse vendors as they put together their production vendor teams and create their diversity plans. So if you are diverse owned, meaning if you identify as a woman or gender X on your state ID and or a race or ethnicity that is diverse, and your business is based in New York, your business may be eligible to be listed on the directory. An MWBE certification is not required to be part of this directory. So as you also know, Westchester is so attractive to filmmakers for its proximity to New York City and its diverse locations. Of course, its great production resources, the small towns, the urban and rural environments, historic places, the modern and historic architecture. We really have it all. Every place has the potential to be a filming location. So if you would like to be considered as a filming location, definitely reach out to Natasha and Barry, and certainly reach out to me at the film office. We'd love to list you. We also highlight a lot of locations on our social media, so we'd be happy to do that in the future as well. Yeah, the possibilities are sort of endless as far as locations go, right? So consider your business as possibly a location. So we hope this was informative and on how you can connect your business with the TV industry in New York. And any questions, please reach out to us. Please reach out to Natasha and Barry. And thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Laura. And you're not going anywhere, so we'll probably have some really good questions at the end. That was really fantastic. Now we're going to take a few minutes because I'm going to introduce Corey Patrick and Gina, and I can't find Gina. I see her. Hi, Gina. Gina Ritzky also with us.
Hello.
Professional location scouts, and they're just going to give you a little bit of what is a location scout. I always start with this. I think we all have these ideas, but let's just to basics, and also a little bit about their experience in working here in Westchester and just maybe even the opportunity. So I see Corey first on my screen. Corey, can you just start us off for a few minutes, and then we're going to start doing the Q&A.
Sure thing. Hi, everyone. I'm Corey Patrick. I am an assistant location manager and a location scout. So what do I do? Well, I get a script, and then the script has all these locations, and we figure out what locations are going to be shot on a stage. I don't have to worry about those. Gina doesn't have to worry about those. But all the other ones, anything outside or anything that they're not going to build on our stage, the scouts have to go out and find somewhere. So we have, a long list of places we know about just from doing our jobs for a long time. And then if there's something we've never found before, sometimes we just drive around and go looking for things. And if it's houses, we literally will go to neighborhoods with letters, and we will put letters not in the mailbox because that's against the law. Put letters in the in your door and say, "Hey, we're shooting the neighborhood. We want to come film in a neighborhood like this. Your house looks good. Please call us." We'll call Barry. I call Barry all the time, saying, "Hey, Barry, I need I need a castle on a hill by a lake, but it also has to be able to have 100 dogs on it," or something weird. That gets very, very specific. And our whole job is to go out and find the places and give the directors options and the location managers options to show the directors. The next step then would be, you say, "Oh yeah, sure, that sounds cool. You let us in." We take a lot of pictures of your place. Let's pretend it's a small bit. You have a coffee shop. We need a coffee shop. We come in, we take a bunch of pictures of your coffee shop. We show the pictures to the director. The director says, "Hey, yeah, that's cool. Let's go look at that place." And then we come to your coffee shop with about 5 or 6 people, usually maybe the scout, definitely the location manager, the director, a production designer, and some producers, and the ADs will have come. So that's about 8 to 10 people the first time. And they'll come and they'll look, they'll talk about what the scene might be and how it might work in your coffee shop. And then they'll leave and they'll go look at 4 other coffee shops that are similar, but not as good as yours, you hope. And if they like it from there, we move forward, and then the location manager or I, as the assistant location manager, will make a deal with you for the location fee, which can vary wildly depending on what your space offers and what the budget of the film or production is. So anywhere from $500 for very small things to multiple thousands of dollars for larger budget things and multiple days. Then if we like it and we make a deal, we sign a contract, and then we bring up a bunch more people for another scout. And then everybody's like, "Oh my God, there's so many people here." But that's not even the biggest, because that's the tech scout where everybody comes and plans it out, and everybody feels like there can't possibly be this many people in my store. I'm like, well, there can, and there'll be more. But what I can promise you, and what Gina will tell you too, is that the people who come in and out of your stores have been in a million stores and a million houses, and we know how to come into a place, not break it, and make it look the way we need it to look, and then leave it and put it back exactly the way it was. If anything does happen to go wrong, if we break anything, we always fix it, and we do our very best to make sure that people around us and the people we work with are happy, because I think Gina can speak to this too. You know me, you'll get to know me, Corey, more than you'll remember everybody else that comes after me. And especially as as assistant location manager, I'm also there when we shoot the scenes. So I'll be the person you talk to and say, "Hey, Corey, there's guys doing this over there," and I'll go tell them to stop doing that over there. And for me to do my job well, I have to live up to my end of the bargain. So even though things might go wrong, I still want a relationship with each and every one of you. And I want to be able to come back to your place, and I don't want you to hate filming in general. So it's a big part of my job is making sure that the owners and the homeowners and the business owners are very comfortable with everything that's happening, explaining it each step of the way. And we work very hard to make everybody happy. And even if the business is around, like if we're shooting at the coffee shop and the furniture store next door feels like, hey, you guys are taking up too much space and people can't get into my store, I'll address that. I'll deal with that. Sometimes we'll just give you some money, say, hey, sorry, I know we're really impacting you today. Please accept a donation from us for that, or we'll figure something out. We work very hard to work with everyone in the community and to make it, it's always disruptive. It is overwhelming. It can be a lot of fun once you sort of give over to the ride of it. And I think it's definitely worth it for everyone who's ever gone through it. I think financially it's very much worth it, and we take care of everything.
Thank you, Corey. And I think what is really important, and thank you for sharing that sentiment, right, is your success is our success and vice versa. Yeah. The intent is not to go in there and be completely disruptive and rule and all that. It really is, but that's about the relationship. So when you're a small business, think you want to take part of this, it is about relationships, and it is also about being flexible as it works and things. It's a fluid environment. It's a changing in many ways. And I think Gina, just to kind of jump off a little from what Corey said, we would love to hear from you. And Westchester really well, and a lot of other locations that you worked on, and big and small productions. So thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. Corey really covered like the way it works as far as being chosen, or having locations being scouted, and kind of the process. But we really love Westchester because of the diversity that it offers. I feel like when I'm scouting, sometimes I'm given the location manager will give us a script, and we'll kind of give it out to give different assignments to different scouts. And sometimes it's looking for a city that doesn't exist, like that's somewhere else, that's not New York City, and it could be like Ohio or something. And I feel like Westchester has so many different looks that gives us different options. So that's always helpful. I feel like you could go from suburban to urban, and give us a lot of different options. But what else? Yeah, so I think it's just a really good place to have a lot of things. And if the businesses can get on the list with Barry, with you guys, and I feel like I call Barry all the time and I'm like, I'm looking for this, and he emails me right away. He's really on it as far as like, oh, this, here's links to this, and here's our pictures for this business or that business. That's always been really helpful. So
thank you. And, we've talked a lot about, the scouting and the location scouting part of it. I will say, if you go on to visit westchesterny.com film, we have a whole film section. You will, and maybe Lisa or Wendy could just put that in the chat box. You can take a look at it. On there, we have resources, and our resource page is our vendor list. And that really is a place to start. That vendor list is used and also shared with, Laura mentioned, with the New York State Film Office, with the different directories. And that's really important. Many times I get asked, and I know Barry, when we're out and about, is, I don't see anything, or I'm not getting any leads. It's a place to start, and it is about visibility, and it is about being interested and wanting this business. And I think that's important for us. And in addition, Corey, Gina, maybe you can talk a little bit about it. Are there any other resources? I mean, we have our Flickr image gallery also on that, and any photos that you might like for us to have and be able to share with scouts is really important. Any other vendor databases? And then I'm going to go into a question about suppliers and services. Is there, Gina, Corey, not to put you on the spot, you can always come back to us if you think of any.
One thing I did want to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you do it, Jan. Take it.
One thing I wanted to add, and it might not fully answer the question you just asked, but we could be filming, you know, somewhere, let's say we're filming at someone's house in Harrison or something. And then the crew and the location assistants will be purchasing things from businesses all day for the amount of time that we're there. So it could be like, you know, we're at someone's house and we're filming for 6 days. Every morning, the location assistants will be going to get breakfast from the local deli, bagel shop, you know, picking up lunch for some people, buying stuff from the hardware store. I feel like it's a constant, you know, the set dressers have people that go out and buy, you know, tools and things that they need to make their day kind of go, things that they have locally. So.
Yeah.
Gina, how can those businesses make sure the productions know they're nearby and available?
I feel like it really comes down to just whatever's local to what we're, to where they are at that, you know, every day they're in somewhere else. So I feel like one day it could be the closest place that they're filming in White Plains. One day it could be, you know, Yonkers. It just depends where they are. But I don't know if there's a way they can be, yeah, I feel like a vendor list would be helpful. Like, you know, they're available for, you know, hardware or paint or food, things like that are always good because we're always looking for something easy, like location assistants, especially they'll call in the morning at like 6 a.m. and be like, I need 30 breakfast sandwiches and I need, you know, a box of coffee. And so they definitely want people that are easy to work with and accessible and quick.
Yeah, I think that's also really
I will,
go ahead, Corey. And then I want to just mention something that Sherry and I were talking about to support the chambers.
yeah. Let me just add to that, and I think that it'll actually tie into the chambers, is that it's important, in addition to making sure that the Westchester County knows, the film office knows that your business is open to these things, that the municipalities also know, your town clerks, because if we're not, like, honestly, if I'm not dealing with a county permit and I already know the town, I'm not going to call Barry, because if I'm going to Harrison, I know Jackie, who is you know, the person with the town clerk in Harrison. And I know a lot because I've shot in Westchester a lot. I know the town clerks and I go to them. They are the people who often do the filming. So make sure that whatever town you're in, if you want to make it known to people that you're interested in just making sandwiches for people or just being a filming location, it helps, of course, for the film office to know. And that's always a great place to start, but is also your town clerk or whoever handles filming in your town, make sure they know that you're also interested. So it's another point of contact for the productions to talk to.
Yeah, thank you. Sherry?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, and I think we're always looking for opportunities where the chambers can work with their local municipal governments. We created a grant that actually helps with downtown improvement of that, and I also just want all the location people to know that on the county website, we have an interactive GIS map of all our minority and women business enterprises that are registered with the county, and you can search that by location. You can search it by type of business. So if you know that you're going into Hastings and you need ice cream, then you know you can find Penny Lick. But there are resources that the county has that also breaks it down to the municipal level. But I love your point about keeping the communication open. And I think this is something that's a really good action step for all the chambers to take, is to make sure that your village or town clerk has a list of all your member businesses, even though it's on your website or on your Facebook page. They're not going to go look at it, but all the ones that would be open to the opportunities that are presented by a film crew.
And I think just to then jump off that, where, you know, Barry and I and Westchester Tourism and Film is having that information. We have B2B channels that we are constantly in communication and sharing with the scouts and the industry. So partnership with New York State Film. I mentioned our website and our vendor list. We have quarterly newsletters that go out to the industry. The more we know, the more that we're able. And again, being flexible, early hours, and a direct phone number, a direct website, direct link, that's really important. the photography we talked about as well, and then all of our social media pages and our social channels have expanded. We do LinkedIn, absolutely LinkedIn, right? For industry and connecting. Instagram and Facebook. So I just want to share, and we're constantly building that. We do vignettes and videos, and really just kind of storytelling and promoting you all, because it is, I think the success of it is these different channels. And I know Corey and then Laura chimed in, and I see Harlan's here, who is a huge advocate and who has, I mean, an amazing space and a prop shop and really doing quite a lot of work. So hopefully, Harlan, we'll hear from you and some of your successes.
Can I just say one more thing real quick? Sorry to interrupt, but as far as help, you talked about a direct phone number and ways to get in touch with you. I think that's very, very important from a scouting perspective, because we, as you mentioned earlier in the meeting, we have a very compressed timeline. So if we see a place that we love, but the phone number is like just to the office or just to a voicemail, and it takes 17 prompts, if we can't get anybody on the phone and nobody answers the info email, that's the only email, we're going to move on pretty quickly, even though we love it. So the more available to reach you are, the better your chances of getting us in your door are.
Yeah, and the wonderful world of text now. I mean, we get text really early in the morning, makes it easy. Are you able to do the sandwiches and the coffee? And this is, and that might be easy. And so, I say sometimes small businesses will say that's really disruptive, I can't do it. I understand, and this may not be an opportunity for you, but that is the reality, to Corey's point and Gina's point, really of how quickly it works. And sometimes there's not a lot of advanced planning. I think, Laura, right, onset, things can happen about 4 o'clock in the morning, wheels up, things are loading, things change. And what are those needs in that location? So again, I can't stress enough. I don't know, Laura, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, and I think that the location folks can attest to this. I think that once they have success with a vendor, they are going to use them again and again, because they know that they are reliable and they can get it done.
Yes.
Hi, Harlan. Great to see you on.
Hi guys, how are you? So I work with the film industry in a couple different ways. One, I own property that I've rented out a bunch of times to the film world, and I also have a furniture business where I rent out props all the time. So my biggest point to everyone that wants to become a vendor is just be flexible. I've gotten phone calls at 5 o'clock in the morning that they need space in 6 hours. I've gotten phone calls at 11 o'clock at night that they need a piece of furniture the next morning. And if you're flexible and willing to work with the film industry, it's a gift that keeps on giving. They're very good to you financially, socially, networking wise. So it's a great industry. It's helped me immensely with all my different businesses. So again, the key word is be flexible, be willing to bend over backwards to them, and they will definitely make it worth your time.
Harlan, can you, just, is there one particular thing that was like, aha for you, about that flexibility, or, anecdotally just an experience or something that happened that was like, wow, this took a multiple, quick, fast and furious, but it was a great way and a good learning for you. Is there anything you could share with?
Yeah, listen, so films companies sometimes want to film inside your building, but sometimes they want just space so that they can do catering and host 100 people because they're filming at your building next door. And I got a phone call that all of a sudden that they were filming next door the next day. The place that they had for catering fell through, and they needed something, and they needed a room cleaned out in 3 hours. And they said, "We'll make it worth your time." So I called my staff in. We came in early one morning, and everything worked out great. But then there's also, I have a furniture store, and I had a production come in one time. We love your store, but we love it empty with nothing in it, because we're going to bring in all these props from different types of things to make it a scene from the 50s. So I said, well, that's a lot of work. And they said, it's no problem. So they came in a week early. They helped me and my staff move everything to a different part of my building. They brought in their own props. They filmed there for 3 days. They put everything back exactly how it was afterwards. So again, they're going to ask you a zillion different requests, but if you're willing to bend over backwards, in the end, everyone's really happy, and it's always a really good experience.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And as a backup, again, Westchester Tourism and Film, myself and Barry are here for you and available, and we can help if there's anything that answer any questions or any assistance. We're here. I know we have I see Penny like ice cream. Hello, we have a restaurant tour. Just I'm gonna Lisa is on. Lisa, hi Lisa. There you go. Great. I think Lisa, from a restaurant's perspective, anything that you would like to share, and then I'd love to hear from everyone if there's any questions. But Lisa, I think a small restaurant, right? Thank you for being participant and supportive of the industry, and it's great to have you here.
Great. Yes. Thank you all. It's great to meet you all and just get more information from my perspective too, to how we can sort of participate in this industry. So yes, my family business is San Martino. It's a restaurant in Yonkers. I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with it, but my my father and my uncle have run the business since 75. So it's been around for almost 50 years now. And as you can, yes, we hosted a film crew several times. They came back about 6 or 7 times to film episodes of should I say? I mean, it's not like proprietary, but it's the Power book, Raising Canaan. So it happened kind of the way that obviously the film scouts on this call talked about. My dad got a call and they wanted to take a look at the space. We're kind of like an old-fashioned red sauce place. Like it looks like it kind of did in the 70s. So I think it was the perfect place. I think they thought it was like a good place for like this kind of period piece. It's set in the 70s, 80s, I believe. So they were fantastic. They did bring in all of their props, sort of restyled the space as well, which it looked really good. And then they did break everything down at the end of the day. We really don't have any complaints, just to like reiterate what was said on the call earlier. Like they were very respectful of the space, respectful of our time. They came early to set up, again, like took everything down. We did have to close. So we close once a week on a Monday, but they were like accommodating of that schedule, but we were more than happy to, prepare the space, close the space to accommodate the film crew. They were, very professional, very accommodating, very communicative about what they needed from us. And then, yeah, just the communication continued from there. They liked the space. They came back a few times. So the same process with all of the props, and, they put everything up, broke everything down at the end of the day. They call us when they tell us they're going to come back. We prepare for them. So we have had a fantastic experience. And this is kind of why I'm happy to be on the call here, is just to look for more opportunities for this, to submit our space for these filming locations would be amazing. So I'm happy to answer any questions as best I can for like how the process was. But from our perspective, it really was fantastic. We're really proud of being, the host for this space. When the season airs, we'll be watching. It was really exciting, frankly.
Oh, great. Thank you. And I know social is great too. There's a lot of enthusiasm and there is an element of local pride. And it just shows, again, how wonderful Westchester is. I mean, I get to say it every day because I'm the tourism chief too. So, I love it. This is what we do, but it is all of us working together to promote Westchester. Kenny, I see you on and you have done big and small. Can I put you on the spot to just share? But also I think, sometimes you work with a lot of various types of productions. Any misconceptions or things that you've had to Um,
It's a fun industry. I mean, it's just fast paced. Everything moves with the industry. Now, one thing that everybody didn't put out there is I just can't reiterate how professional of an industry it is. Their I's are dotted, their T's are crossed, their contracts are in place, their insurance requirements, safety conscious like you wouldn't believe, and conscientious about where they're going, their footprint, that they don't impede anybody else. When we go in to set up tents for hair and makeup, holding, catering, craft services, I mean, we take into consideration of everything so it doesn't affect everybody. I'm usually in first, and we're usually out last a lot of times. So sometimes even our equipment winds up on the set. So we're dealing with the set dressers and the locations, but everybody's in communication. It's very forward. Now, one of the other misconceptions that the movies has is everybody thinks they call you, they just hit the lotto. I mean, the movies have a budget, they have a need, a want, and a budget. And if you can feed that need, the want, and the budget within their budget, you can have a very good working relationship. You try and hit them hard, they may use you. You're once and done. You work with them, there's a world of opportunity. I've been doing movies for over 30 years, over 2,500 productions. We've done the little tiny ones, a 3-hour shoot for a commercial, all the way up to like War of the Worlds, where we traveled the tri-state area and we filmed for, I think it was 68 days straight, dealing with 3 different location crews and everything else. So, it's just interesting how it all goes, all the moving parts and how everybody works together. And it's, when they call, we run. Now, one of the other things, if everybody's out there looking for work, there's a thing called Prod Pro. See, okay, what shows all the productions that are coming up and everything else. So we actively, I mean, we have a great reputation in the industry for what we've done and what we do. I mean, I've heated swimming pools, I've covered barns with camouflage, I've had to get a dozen dryers for one movie because they kept filming wet scenes and they had to dry the clothes so that they could reshoot it. And that's the fun part of the industry. It's not just tents, tables, and chairs. It's the weird stuff that they call you. I mean, it's not just the furniture that they need. It's just not a weird prop. It's just sometimes that added service. And again, if you could fill that value and give them great service, you got a great relationship with everybody. So.
Thank you, and thank you for your enthusiasm and passion. Barry, Q&A is going to start, so please put in your questions, comments, and then again, we're probably about 10 minutes out of our time. Barry, did you want to add?
Yeah, just real quick, because Kenny mentioned small productions, and I think, as I'm listening to the discussion today, I think it's been a little bit biased toward the larger productions, the episodic television shows like, Corey works on that roll in with, 150 people on a daily shoot. We also, have a lot of business from commercials and short films and one-off kind of programs. I get calls at least once a month from some documentary filmmaker in some other country who's coming in to do a show about Halloween or about the Gilded Age or something else. So I think that, the expectations, and the budgets are a little different, but also I think the opportunities are also really great for some of these smaller productions. They're the ones who call me and say, I need to feed 30 people lunch tomorrow. Have you got a caterer you can recommend? And I can send them to the website, that link that Lisa put in the chat, and say, look, there's five caterers here. One only does brownies, but the other ones are great for box lunches, or you want to set up tables, whatever it is. So I think thinking about the fact that the industry is not monolithic. There are the big, high budget, high profile productions and things we see on our streaming services every week or all weekend when we binge. But there's also smaller productions, and they have needs. They may not spend tens of thousands of dollars, but they may spend several hundred or a few thousand, and that can be significant to your business. So I would urge you, if that's a segment you're interested in serving, to get in touch with me. Check out that resource page, and there's a form there you can fill out to get listed. And we do actively refer people to businesses, but we have to know you're out there and we have to know you want the business.
Such a good point. Thank you, Barry, right? It's a very diverse and size and scale also changes. And we are prospecting and soliciting business from big and small.
I had a request recently for greens. Somebody needed a couple plants for a set. So, I've lived in Westchester 30 years. I know a lot of people, I know a lot of businesses, but the first ones I'm going to go to are the ones that have raised their hands and said to me, hey, we're available and we want part of this.
Yeah, excellent. And also experts, right? Sometimes there's, the need for an expert in a certain industry. I saw the one question about listing homes. We do have a database of homes. For safety and privacy, we don't put it out there, everyone's homes and photos and addresses, but there is a form that we could share out there, Barry. And if we could put that in there, that's a kind of a separate link. We ask for certain questions. We have to have your permission to list a home. So just keep that in mind. So that is certain that we do as well. Any other questions?
Natasha, may I interject for a second? I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. I have to hop off in just a minute or so or two, but I just wanted to touch quickly on a couple of things that were talked about earlier that Corey and Sherry brought up about the municipalities. I think that, that hyper local level thing is really important, and just something I think, and Corey, tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like when you guys are looking around in a community and you decide to use a location and you begin that permitting process, I feel like sometimes part of that paperwork that comes to you could include a list of businesses in that community that, that really want to work with the industry. And there you have it. I mean, if you don't know they're there, you don't know what you don't know. So I feel like on the municipal level, from those clerk's offices, that those businesses can be wrangled. These people want to work with you, and the location people are the ones who are kind of directing, that whole thing.
Yeah, such a good point. I think that's one of our takeaways here. I see Sherry also nodding, is kind of working with our municipal partners, kind of connecting the dots, working with the municipal film liaisons, which are all listed. If you would like to know who that is in your backyard, that's on our film website, and the chambers. And also, again, so that we have that information, and Laura, we can share that information also. At least you'll know that it's there in Westchester, to share from the film's perspective.
Absolutely.
If I could just add that.
Absolutely. And just a couple other things just for businesses. And Corey and Gina, again, hopefully you can second this. As we kind of touched on, it is a very, word of mouth business. If businesses are coming in contact, even if they're not used, or even if they're, you're not utilized as a location, or maybe it didn't work out that you ended up using that business, but that interaction, that first, phone call, or that interaction was really positive. And of course, if you are using that business, I think for businesses, if you can collect, testimonials from the productions that have used you, those are really great for your business. And also, again, if you are utilized or not utilized, ask that person that you're interacting with, the Corys and the Ginas out there, can you share with your community news about my business, that we want to work with you? These guys are communicating all the time on chat groups and with each other. And so often they are absolutely more than willing to share news about great locations and great businesses that they've worked with. So ask that question, ask them if they will do that. And also from our perspective, from my perspective, from my office, if you have worked with the film industry and you've had a positive experience, or you're servicing the industry in some way, please give me a call. We love to collect these stories. We can share these things on our social media. We also like to highlight in, future newsletters, also for internal purposes, for reports that we do. We love to hear from small businesses and how they're working with the industry.
Thank you. Such good points. There's a lot of links on the chat. So please take a look at that. Also, we are recording this. We will be sharing this with everyone, as well as a follow-up, and then sending back some resources and checklists and just some homework for everyone here so we can further advance filming in Westchester County. Any outstanding, I think we can open it up if there's any other questions.
Can I say one quick thing while people think about their questions? I just want to, as a disclaimer, there's been a lot of talk about last minute requests and being extremely flexible and bending over backwards. And yes, all of that is true and all that is appreciated. But please know, for the most part, we plan these things very well, and
point.
sometimes things go wrong, but it is not the norm that everything is not last minute. For the most part, we tell you when we're coming. That's when we come. We come with what we say we're coming with, and we do what we say we're going to do. Things go wrong, as they do in all businesses, and ours is just it's hectic in a way that seems strange to others, but it's normal to us. But please know that for the most part, things go as planned, and we do plan it very, very specifically, and we plan it basically down to the minute. I mean, for many reasons, but please know most of the time it goes as planned.
Yeah, no, excellent point, right? And also, I guess, and sometimes when we say last minute, it could be a week or 7 days, 9 days. Sometimes, it's
That's
all
a ton of time.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's time. But I'm just saying, from a small business, 3 days could be last minute. I just want to think the points of nimble and timing and asking that question, when do you need this? Or, I could do X, Y, and Z and being forthcoming. So I just want to mention that, but that's a really good. Okay, I am, we have literally a few minutes. I feel like if you last words before we wrap up, just unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think this was so informative and so helpful. And I know for my part, I'm obviously going to be sending out the recording of this, but I think, I also want to make sure that I send those links to all the chambers and encourage them to do exactly what Corey said, and make sure that their village and town clerks have that information, and that this is a, public-private partnership between the local government and the local businesses, because anything we could do to make your business easier to find, will be beneficial, not just to the Scouts, but to, the businesses. I'm totally listing my house. Absolutely, for sure. But, so I just want to assure that all the people on this call who are members of chambers, I will be sending out all of these links and all of that. And I'm always available if you have more questions. And I speak to Natasha 100 times a day. So, we're on board. I want to just thank everybody. This was awesome.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the great team. Barry, Lisa, Wendy. I know Sarah Marshall's on here. Our hotel partners, Michelle Barry. Our hotels are, do a ton in the film industry as well. They're also a very integral part and within your communities and the restaurants. So it really is all in, as I keep saying, about this. And I am just going to close it if there's any last words. And but if we missed anything, you know where to find us. We'll send these links. And I can't thank you enough. This was a really good session.
It was great. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Natasha and Barry and the rest of the team.
Thanks, Nada.